episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Yeah.
What up, what up? So today we're reviewing... Wait, sorry, what's the name of the movie?
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
Yes.
Ooh, nice. Starring Brad Pitt and Tom Lee Jones.
Yep.
And like always, guys, we're going to give a quick summary of the movie. Well, first synopsis, summary of the movie.
Yeah,
and then we're going to jump into our spoiler review. And then, of course, our spoiler review.
Okay.
Pedro, take it away.
All right. As spoiler-free as possible, just to get you the gist of it, Brad Pitt plays as an astronaut that has been assigned on a mission to go to Neptune to go reunite with his father's ship and find out what's going on, because there have been like some weird electrical EMP type explosions going on. So yeah, so the whole movie's his mission.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Now let's jump into our rating of it. What do you think?
You want me to start first?
Yeah, sure.
All right, man. I give it a 4 out of 5. I really like this movie, and I know we talked about it a lot, after we finished watching it, but it had huge Apocalypse Now vibes, like big time. The whole feel of it, the vibe of it, the arcs that was going on is very, very big into Apocalypse Now. And it's just, I thought Brad Pitt's performance, I've always said Brad Pitt's, overrated. I'm always like, yeah, he's a good actor, but he's so overrated. I don't know. Here, I guess since he practically carried the movie by himself, just his little micro emotions of his, his sanity and everything, it was actually very well done. I was like, holy crap. I feel what you're feeling right now, man. It was very, very powerful, very good. I was impressed, actually. Yeah. And I love the visuals. I loved how realistic it made the space travel feel. Like if we lived on other planets and so on, how to go from to and from. I just thought it was great. And I love the music. The pacing was a little interesting, especially the last arc. But I don't know, man. Overall, I really, really enjoyed it. It felt very different from the usual stuff. Especially, it was very different from what I was expecting. I was expecting something completely altogether, and I was pleasantly surprised. So, yeah, 4 out of 5. Really liked it. Recommend it.
I liked it. I give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay. No, 2.7.
No, I was leaning towards 2.7 when we got out of the movie, but I liked it. I liked the performance as well. Like you said, like I like how it's a movie about space travel and the mysteries of space, but it's also a psychological dilemma with a guy who, for the most part, bottles things in.
Yeah. And
so I really like the fact that it deals with his pain and his and he's just very stoic most of the time, and very not dry, but just very monotone. And so you want him to break, to feel something. And so I do like that portrayal of a man who has gone through so much and it's gone so far, and you finally see the result of all that. So I thought it was great in terms of a movie. I thought maybe the end, I like how it kind of ended, but I would like to have done a different ending. But overall, yeah, this is, I think if you would have asked me show me a movie that showcases Brad Pitt's acting abilities, I would say this is one of them. Definitely.
Definitely agree.
I think this is truly one of those movies. Just to the film fact is he had to carry this movie. This is this is his one-man show.
Right. It's him and cameos for the most part.
So I think for the most part he handles it well. Yeah, I wanted some... He's so stoic that I wanted some emotion out of him. But just knowing that the character's background and knowing what he has to do to be ready for his missions, it makes sense why he is so by the numbers. It's kind of almost robotic.
Yes.
And being doing that, I was you know what, I want something else, but I get what you're going for, and I acknowledge and I appreciate your ability to give me that. And so I really enjoyed the movie in terms of that. Yeah.
All right.
So let's jump into our spoiler part of the movie. If you haven't watched the movie yet, come back. And if you don't care, well, welcome. So
yeah, the psychology, like I'm watching this movie and I'm like, man, this is a great character study.
It is. I was thinking of it as like, I was trying to realize what, because at the end of the day, he had kept his heartbeat, his
BPM, his beats per minute
down below 80, which is really like good.
Well, he said even when he's most nervous, it's below 80,
Exactly.
which is supernatural.
Right. And so I was wondering, like, okay, how does he get that? Because I was thinking, okay, it has to be like heavy meditation.
Yeah.
Like heavy induced meditation, because like I was
and not scared of death.
Right. Yeah.
That's the big part, because I mean, the movie opened up with a hell of a fucking scene and you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then to hear that it didn't even go up above 80, I go up above 80 walking up some stairs. Like
and I was like, because I'm recently getting into like meditating, and so I was like learning a little bit about it, and then like Buddhist monks. There is like this famous photo of a monk like protesting, I think, war
in Vietnam. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And he's getting lit up on fire.
He self-emulated himself.
And so like
immolated.
Yeah, when people were writing about that at the time, like he was very like stoic, like he didn't move,
he didn't scream.
And so when you meditate, at least like when the experts, like, you know, monks meditate, and if they come towards like some adversity or some like challenge, so what happens to us, like our body naturally gets ready for that, like, you know, flight or fight. So our blood vessels open, like blood starts like moving around.
Right, we're ready for some. We get the adrenaline kick.
You're digesting, like your stomach and your digesting like stops to a complete halt, because okay, we have more important things to do than like digest food. And so when something's coming for us, we're like heightened, like our pupils dilate. And so we're like we're ready. And so what happens is that like there's a good episode about this called on Netflix called Explained, and talk about mindfulness.
Oh, so, I've been wanting to watch that.
So what happens is that like, since we're like getting amped up, our brain is like sending like all these signals, and so you can see like when they study the brain that like our mental state is like so heightened, and so then when it hits us and we feel like the pain or the rush, and we keep going, like it escalates. But monks, for the most part, they're like Zen. Then they feel like the pain or whatever the rush is. Yeah, they experience it, but then they have a faster cool down, so they can relax faster. So what it allows you to do, it's like, and especially like when the basis of meditating, like it's about. I'm going too deep about meditating, but I just thought maybe his character would do this. But it's about basically like allowing your anxieties and your fears to exist among you, not like pushing them away, like welcoming it. Yeah. And then like acknowledging them. But you can't. And so you just react to them, but you don't try to like avoid them. Right. So I was just like, so you see that in the movie a lot. Yes. Where he is going through like these intense situations where he's falling in the sky and he's rotating like 100 times, and he's and you see him talking, like he's talking, he's like, all right, trying to keep consciousness, control my spin, and we're good. Yeah. And then you see the parachute like fucking get punctured, and you're like, oh shit. Like I was like, oh my God. And he's just like, all right, here we go. You know, he's just like, fuck it. When I saw that, I just took back to like, he has to like be like heavy, like he must practice meditation like on a constant. They didn't show it, but they showed something similar. So once you start getting towards the end of the movie, he starts becoming psychologically like unhinged. Like he starts, well, not even unhinged, just human for the most part. He was just feeling things, and then apparently in the space, occupation, you can't. Yeah. They train you to be very 1984 type of like robotic. Right. Where they give you psychological evaluations, like it feels like every hour almost. Like we were even laughing at one of them where he just, in the middle of the story, they already said, he didn't even let him finish the story. And they're like, you have been cleared. Yeah. He's like in the middle of almost a breakdown. And it's like a automatic response. Automated response. So it's like an AI that scans you and everything. Yeah, that he speaks to. Yeah, and so like he's like breaking down about like his father and like what the things he's been through, and like how he just want to become his father and what this mission means to him really. And then before like he breaks down, the response from the AI is like, okay, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And it's just like, shit, that sucks. Like,
So when you're not, they put you in pretty much this room where it's like a screensaver of just trying to mellow you out, like the
Yeah.
waves and shit. It actually reminded me a lot of the museum that I went to when I was in Japan that had like the waves and shit
Yeah.
crashing around. So I saw that, and I guess that's the form of meditation. They put you
Yeah.
in one of those rooms, and you're kind of like, all right, here we go, mellow out, chill.
Yeah.
And that probably assists you. That's the closest the film showed to any
Right.
form of meditation. But I guess the talk that he would kind of give himself to prep, he would show that he would only focus on the mission, focus on the objective, and anything else was like
background noise.
And then as he's narrating it, you would see that when the wife comes home, I guess to kind of say hi to him, he kind of like sits in the table, like looks away from her, and then she already knows what's up. She kind of goes like, well, I guess he's preparing for it, and you see her just go upstairs. So I guess in preparation for the mission, he's already like, all right, I need to remove myself from anything.
Right.
So that's another part of the preparation, not even just meditating, just like completely.
That in psychology, there's a like if you have a fear of something, you can do exposure therapy. So you prep for whatever you got to do
by
like
I'm scared of spiders. Stick you in a room of spiders.
Right, that as well. I mean, you take baby steps, but it could be like you just become knowledgeable and aware of the situation, so that when it happens, you won't overreact to it. So that could be it. Like, okay, I'm gonna go into space. Okay, let me see what that entails, so that when it happens, I'm cool and level-headed.
Yeah.
And you see that when basically the rocket, he has to land the rocket because it's spinning in orbit, and he has a captain who's in charge.
Right. And the captain.
And he's like, hey, captain, go to manual. And he's calm. He's not even yelling at him. And that's a moment where you would think.
Because he knew from the get-go, he even said it, he narrated it before, he said he is scared.
Yeah.
So he knows he's not capable of it, but he's still calm, saying like, I know you're not going to do it, but fucking do it.
Yeah, go to manual. He says like in a very calm, very like not nurturing, but just very like, hey, you got this. Like, go to manual. Yeah. And he's not. And
Captain, go to manual.
Yeah, and they're spinning in orbit, and so he says, okay, I'm taking control.
Captain taking control, right?
And that's it. And he does it very calm and cool.
He was even nice about it afterwards. He's like, you understand why I did this, right? I will not report you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at that. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that's gonna bite him in the ass at one point.
Right.
And it did.
Right.
Yeah. Because even afterwards, he was like, you're getting me off this mission because I'm mentally unstable, but you have this fuckhead doing the mission. That's why he was like, Captain, like all pissed.
Yeah, and he's like, and then when he snuck in, he's like, I can do this mission. He can't do this mission. Yeah. But it's one of those things where like, yeah, at that point, he's already unhinged. So it's like, you see his like, his anger come up.
Yeah. Everyone was them too. He was definitely gone by that point.
Right. At that point, he was already like, nah, screw this. Like, I can do this. He can't do this. But he was It wasn't even about the mission. It was like, I need to get to my dad.
Yeah.
I need to figure out.
Aside from obviously the psychology was like one of my favorite parts of the movie. Like just like I said, the character study of it. But I loved the world building that this movie did. Yeah, it fast forward through many parts. Like it didn't really sit there and explain things to you, but it showed stuff. So it showed him go to the moon. And then what we were talking about, that you actually saw there's like a subway there. Yeah. There's like, it was like normal, but it was on the moon.
I like when he's like, he's narrating the movie basically, and there's a part where he's like, "Oh, we're star eaters, or we're like we consume planets," and then, so you can see the moon like being like Americanized or like modern,
or just civilized,
right? And so it's like. And even when they're driving on the moon to get to the next station, there's like pirates who basically...
I was going to say, that was one of my favorite scenes because it showed that no matter what, humans will be humans.
Right, yeah.
There will always be that fight for what he was saying, the fight for resources.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool scene, actually. I was like, oh shit, they still got pirates and they still fuck shit up. And
it made me think about like just us in general as a society.
That we're a virus.
Yeah, like like it's like naturally before like modern medicine, we would die like at 30. 30 or 40.
Yeah. The life expectancy was way shorter.
Yeah, and so like now like we're living to like 80, 90s or whatever, 100s. It's like, man, like we're really not supposed to be here. Like,
we're not supposed to live this long. We're not supposed to be doing any of this.
Yeah, and we keep striving and keep taking resources away from like planets. It's crazy.
I mean, the movie didn't go this route, but I was almost expecting that this was kind of the theme that was going to happen, that maybe when he got to the father, it was him doing it on purpose to kind of kill humans. Like there's even that part where he's like, if my father would see this, he would tear it all down. I'm like, oh shit. So in my mind, I'm thinking he's sending out those EMPs or whatever to fuck everything up.
Right. Like
that's where I thought that it was going, you know.
Right.
Didn't end up going that route, but it was still an interesting thought that like, yeah, like you said, we're consuming and, you know, converting everything, and for what, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's what I thought. Towards the end of the movie, that was like my mindset. It's like we travel to Neptune, we're traveling to like the outer rims of our universe, and for what? Like, I mean, granted, I think the discovery and knowledge of like of the universe is important, but like what we're doing in the process, like as a society, like we are literally planet destroyers. So it's like it's fascinating to see like that conflict, you know?
Right. Yeah. You see the optimism of it. It's like, wow, look at all this, especially at the end. It's like his father's mission was a success. Right. Not in his mind, because he couldn't get past the fact that we are alone. Right. So he felt lonely. That's what he couldn't get over. The fact that like this is it. Like this is all there is, just us, and he can't. He's spent his entire life trying to get away from humans. Yeah. Like you could tell he didn't like people. Right. Didn't like anything. So he's like, maybe there's something better out there. Right. And when he found out there wasn't, as far as life forms are concerned, that's it. He just totally fucking lost it.
Yeah. And I think that's another deep character dive in terms of the dad's like motivations, in terms of like, I think it wasn't like he doesn't like humans. I just think it's like, okay, there has to be something more. Like this can't be the end of it. And I want to sacrifice everything to get to that. And then to realize that it's nothing. It messed him up. And I think at the end when he was trying to go back home, like go back home for what? Yeah. Like I don't belong home. I belong like
this is home. Yeah, he was losing it.
Yeah, he was losing it.
The other thing that they mentioned, that Brad Pitt had mentioned earlier on, he's like, you know, we went to space as an escape. So like away from everything. Yeah. So that's essentially what the father did. Like, right. He's like, you probably, you know, the family life, and he's like, this isn't for me. Yeah. Escape, bam, maybe there's more, and that's his breakdown.
I do like that for the most part. You have to put the like even now we're trying to put the pieces of like the father, because he's only in it for like 10 minutes of the movie, 5 minutes in the movie. So you truly don't know like Brad Pitt's like childhood really. No. You heard about a rage, but you don't really see that rage. You're not sure if he was abusive or verbally or physically.
Or maybe he just saw it. You know, it was one of those, like, you could see the rage and then he hides it. Like, kind of like how Brad Pitt
hides it.
Like how he described his character. Like, he just like, I'm so fucking mad. And then just, all right, and we're good. Yeah. I'm the best of my abilities. I'm going to complete the mission. And deep down, he's like, going to like kill everyone.
Right, yeah. So it could be that. It could be like that rage where you sense it. But it was interesting, like, in terms of like as an audience just watching that and trying to figure out, like we talked about in the beginning, Brad Pitt's like psychology and like why he is the way he is, you know? Yeah. Because I think that's probably the most, since he is driving the movie, it's such a, like I said, deep character dive of like, okay, I get why you're like this.
One of the reasons why I enjoyed this movie very well is because, like I said earlier, the similarities of Apocalypse Now. So Apocalypse Now is the same gist. It's a guy that gets a mission to take out this captain that went crazy and hid in the middle of the jungle, like the other side. So they give him a mission, kill him. And the entire movie, it's like almost a 4-hour movie. It's his journey to it.
So is it a space movie?
No. It's in the jungle during Vietnam. Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
But it's the gist of it. It's even like he gets there, he doesn't know what the mission's about. It's completely classified. And they say, you are going to tag along on these groups. They're not going to know anything. They're just going to know that you're on a mission and you're not allowed to tell anyone. But you need to get to where he is and kill him. And that's it. Okay. So and then the whole thing is his journey. And then you see Vietnam through his eyes, like the craziness of it. Like there's some shit where he gets in there where people... Like one of the characters in Apocalypse Now is like, he's totally lost it. And what does he do? He fucking surfs after he like bombs like the water to get the waves and shit. So pretty much what I'm getting at is that you see Vietnam through him, right. Like the good and the bad. Right. And I felt that Brad Pitt's character was, you see the good and the bad of space travel, of long space travel. He's just the observer. You know, we're just tagging along with him to see everything. So you see the father go crazy. You see the captain that kind of like loses it. Or even see the cool shit, you know, the pirates, more of the bad stuff. So yeah, it was really cool to see that. I was like, man, this movie did a very good job of showing the setting without holding your hand about it.
without being like so like here like it's terrible. Like it reminded me of
Because you know a lot of movies in the beginning they'll have like in the year 20 blah 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 the world is da 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 da. You know, there's like a whole Star Wars type paragraph of like, okay, thank you for telling me this, but this didn't tell us shit. It just said in the near future, and then it tells you the rest.
Yeah.
Through showing. So.
What it reminded me of, especially the when he's like in space floating, he's just like, oh, I'm slowly losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of that Twilight episode where the guy's he's in the town by himself.
The first episode.
That's the first episode.
Yeah, first episode.
Great episode.
He's in the capsule.
Yeah, he's in the cap. He's spoiler alert for like a 70-year-old show by now.
Yeah.
He's in a capsule or whatever, and then like
it's training for space travel, isolation.
Yeah. So he starts like he's dreaming or just thinking about like the world, but it's empty.
Yeah. His brain is trying to cope with the isolation of it.
Yeah.
So he just starts fucking losing it.
Yeah. So it's empty, and then he just wants to get out, and then they open the doors, and he's in the space capsule like training to Yeah. And it reminded me of that. It just reminded me of like, oh, man, you've been here for I think it was 79 days. Like
79, yeah. And some of the cool details, again, the movie didn't hold your hand about it, but I thought some of the details were really cool. That he was doing the IV so he can get his nutrients. Mm-hmm. And he put that electric shock thing around his muscles. Because, you know, when you're in 0 Gs, you can't use your muscles.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he was like shocking himself.
Oh, okay.
So that when he's done with his 79 days, he's not just going to collapse on the floor. So I saw that and I'm like, this is so cool. The movie isn't really telling you this, but it's kind of showing like, you know, how he's getting ready for it, but still, you know, slowly losing it. So I just thought it was little details like that where I was like, oh man, this is a very well thought out movie, like visually for sure.
Yeah, I was reading an article. It was like the director wanted it to be like the most realistic to like space travel that it could be like without like.
And I could definitely see
without like without anyone be like, yeah, that can't happen.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was some stuff where I even kind of just chuckled to myself, like, huh. Like I remember the part is like to make sure to keep your cover, you know, for this confidential mission, you're gonna have to fly commercial. Yeah. And it was just like you're going to it was like a rocket ship, like you're going to the moon, and I'm just like, wow, this is commercial. Right. And it's like, well, it is your captain speaking, you know, and it was like if you were gonna fly, get on a 747.
Yeah.
But have the astronaut suit, you're there. It was just like pretty bizarre to think about it. And I'm just like, yeah, man, this is what it'll be.
Yeah.
Obviously over time they'll change it, but it's just like, yeah, this is.
Yeah, if you would have to guess, and obviously people have, I think Elon Musk said he wanted to do commercial trips to the moon or whatever. So yeah, so I could totally see that happening. Like especially like that, like in terms of like, oh, do you want to put it on a blanket? Like, yeah, $150 that it costs them.
I know when we left the movie, you had a big problem with the movie, like a specific key point.
Right. So
what is it?
So in the middle of the movie, basically,
I would say even almost near the end.
Right. Brad Pitt,
that's probably the beginning of the last arc.
Right. So he was told that his father left on this mission to discover life, but he's having this like not radio waves, but like this antimatter rays that's hitting Earth. That's causing like surge energy.
That's what it is. They call it the surge.
Right. So basically like power plants explode and like things lose power and causes a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, like overloads everything.
Right.
That's what it seems.
And so you find out that like his dad basically, like the crew there was trying to get back home, and his dad was like, no, we need to be on the mission, and he pretty much kills the crew. But the person who delivers that message is the daughter of like crew members of the ship. So she tells Brad Pitt what happened, like, hey, your dad went AWOL, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you this because she kind of helps him go on the mission to like see his dad. And what I don't understand is that like originally like she is told that like they're gonna send out a ship for a search and destroy, basically to kill to kill like Roy, Brad Pitt's father, to kill him. And so instead of
Roy is him.
Yeah.
He's Roy.
Oh, yeah, right.
So the father's Clifford.
Right. So they're gonna send a ship to kill Clifford or whatever. And so she intervened by telling Roy this, like, hey, like your dad went AWOL. I know how to get you on the ship. And for me, it's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you send a man who clearly might rescue like the person who killed your parents?
Yeah.
You know? And so I just didn't see her motive as this whole movie is a character like dive. So I just didn't see her motive in terms of like you maybe because I would think you would want revenge or some sort of like closure, like, hey, like, okay, like the person who killed my parents, I want them gone, or I want them reprimanded, or I want them to have justice, justice to be served in that sense. So it's like, but you came to a conclusion.
Right. I mean, you did stump us there for a while. I even went, went to the bathroom, took a piss, and I'm thinking, you got something there. And then we were pretty much thinking that it seemed like the character, like you said, just wanted closure. She had questions, no answers.
Right.
And the team that was going to go there was just going to complete the mission and just go on with their life. But she could tell from, obviously, Brad Pitt was torn. He was like, he wanted to find out what happened. Because, they even both said this is what we have in common. We both don't know what happened there. So I figured that she
wants answers.
She wanted answers.
Like, why did you kill my parents?
Not necessarily vengeance. That's what you and me thought, because that's like a gut reaction of like, yeah, get him. But maybe it was just, I just want answers. I just want a answer.
Right.
So go out there, do something, and let me know what happened. Or let me know why your father did this, or what exactly happened. My parents are dead out there. Who knows? So, yeah, it was more of just, you're the best person to send there to give me an answer.
Right.
So that's the best. Obviously, this, like I said, this movie does not hold your hand on anything. So, but that's the best that we can come up with. And to me, that actually makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So.
Like, once you point out to me, like, okay, like killing Clifford would be the easy way, not the easy way out, but it leaves the person like, okay.
It still leaves the void of like, what was it all for?
Yeah. Like, was there a meaning out there? Because like, if he did discover life, like aliens or whatever, like, okay, you sacrificed their parents for life. We discovered that. I get it. Like, I might not agree with it, but okay.
Right.
Like, you're 100% dedicated to your mission. And I mean, I would argue that because he did have a video recording that he sent to the crew, to the station in Mars. Yeah. That you could tell, like, that was the reason why. Like, I'm dedicated to this mission. It's like, so you don't really need, I don't know. In my opinion, you don't really need to know a reason why. Like, you can tell that, like, that was the reason. Like, hey, because Clifford says, like, the people wanted to go home. Right. We have a mission. They're not coming home. And I closed down the life support system. So, like, it's like, okay, I get, so what more, like, what more of an answer do you want? Like,
I don't know.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm coming back to, like, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Because he did give you an answer. Of, like, maybe.
Yeah, he lost it out there, but.
Yeah, maybe she wanted, was it worth it?
Like, was it worth it? Right.
Like,
did you find something or?
Yeah. And I think maybe that's what it is. Like, was it worth it? Like, you killed my parents. Did you discover something? Because I want to know. Yeah. So maybe that's what, and that's what's good about the movie. It's like, they don't tell you. Right. So it's a great movie to, like, dissect.
Yeah, you just watch it and you're just like, like you said, what are their motivations? Because this movie really doesn't tell you anything. Yeah. The only time that they actually tell you a person's motivation is when Tommy Lee Jones is actually saying, yeah, where is it? Where's the life? And they even show him, like, scribbling, is there life out there? And he scribbles, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, It's like, oh, yeah, he's done.
He's lost it, yeah. I mean, even with his wife, like, clearly they had not a bad relationship, but clearly he was absent from the relationship. So you see, like, their downfall. But you don't even see her motives, like, to come back or what happened or whatever. Like, you just have to piece it all together. Right. This whole movie's a puzzle that you have to put together, which is great because as you're watching it, you're, like, putting the clues that were left over.
There were a few parts that were, like, sprinkled in there that I was just like, what the fuck was that scene where the apes were in there just tearing that place up and killed the guy? I was like, holy crap. So, but again, a bit of world building showing that they still do bring apes to space to, I guess, I don't know, whatever kind of fucking experiments, and that shit like that does go wrong. So, and again, he still keeps calm and everything. But I did like how that, when he had to, I guess, I'm trying to remember now, where he had to talk about that to his psych eval, he didn't really get into, like, the details of it. He immediately got that moment with the apes and just turned it into a story about rage, which is the story that you were talking about, where he just got interrupted and it's like, okay, you're cleared. Yeah. But it was just him, like, I saw that rage, that pure rage, and I saw it in me, saw it in my father, and I was just like, yeah, that guy's clearly got daddy issues. Like, where out of that whole thing, you don't just say, oh, the captain got his face tore off by an ape and we got here, we're good. No, he's just like, that reminded me of my father. You're just like, all right, you're really, it's digging in there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it's like when it comes to like nature versus nurture, I feel like it's like 50-50, for the most part. And so with this movie, you kind of see like, I feel like a lot of people's problems sometimes do stem from the past. Like maybe like their upbringing or like how things they were treated in like in situations. Yeah,
the big saying, the sins of the father. That's one of the big sayings.
Yeah, that was in the movie.
It was in the movie as well.
The sins of the father. What is it?
The bear fruit, something like that.
Oh, for the son, or something like that. Yeah. It's like whatever your dad did to you, you're gonna have to deal with it, basically.
We're totally misquoting and paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. We get it.
Yeah. Daddy Issues, the movie.
That's exactly what this is. Daddy Issues in space.
Yeah.
Big time.
And so I like that. I liked how, like, I feel, and I agree with that. I do agree that sometimes a lot of people's trauma and inability to cope or deal with things stem from the their past experiences. Yeah. Because we're all not perfect. Even if you have like a nurturing, loving family, like it can be too nurturing, too coddling. So there's always give and take. So I did like how this movie delved deep into like the ramifications of someone's upbringing. And even like I think his career choice is like, you probably did this to be close to your father.
Yeah.
To gain some acceptance.
Yeah. His dad left him. He was filled with rage about that, and then the only way to cope it is to feel closer to him.
Yeah, like
by doing the same,
following in his footsteps. Like, how can I be close to my father and maybe gain some sort of acceptance, some sort of like, maybe affection or admiration? Like, oh wow, you, I'm proud of you, kind of thing. Like, let me do what he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Not talking about it, I'm like, yeah, this is a good movie.
Yeah, it's very good. It's just, it probably wasn't what you went in expecting.
Right.
It's a totally different movie. It's, the more you think about it, it's just a straight psychological just movie about,
about the human condition more or less.
It's the guy's descent from like psychological perfection to what makes him like crack.
Right.
And then eventually he gets it back. But he was almost there. He was on the teetering edge. And then I guess him looking at his father like, yeah, I'm not going to turn out like this.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm becoming. Fuck that. So that was him, like, letting go. And he's like, all right, back to the mission at hand, back to the pursuit of greatness for human race, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
To bring it back. So.
And I do think that, like you said, like, at the end, I do think the clear message at the end was, like, let it go.
Yeah.
Like, because his dad was saying, let me go. And I think that's what it was. That, like, clear.
Yeah,
like,
you just need to accept that I just didn't really fucking care.
Right.
He just needs to accept that.
Right.
Which was brutal. That was a really good scene where he's just like, no, I didn't care. I didn't think about you once. And you just see that one tear.
Yeah.
Which is always good. Like you said, he's very stoic the entire time. Even when he's reading the letter and he kind of like drops the script down and he's like, fuck it. So he says it from his heart. Stoic, monotone. But still, you could still, like, that's what I'm saying. His acting was phenomenal.
Right.
Because even through that, you can see he was feeling things like the twitches in the eye, the lips, the cheeks. Like, obviously the sexy cry is what I call it, where it's just the one tear. But besides that, if he wouldn't have dropped a tear, I would have known he's fucking losing it. And he's trying to hold it in because these people are looking at him and they're going to take him off the mission. So those scenes are just like, yeah, man, it's great.
Yeah, you were saying how the movie doesn't really like give you, like, paint a picture for you. You have to put it all together. But at the end, it's a clear message of like, I need to let this go. I need to like stop chasing my father. Yeah. Basically, stop chasing this image or this wanting of my father. And finally, he lets him go to his death.
Yeah, do what I want to do rather than what my father would want me to do. Or whatever. Or what he thought his father would want him to do. Yeah.
And so at the end of the movie, I was thinking towards the end, I really don't want I don't want to see the ramifications of the mission.
Right, because he had people killed.
Because he legally like went on board the mission, killed the people
accidentally, but still happened.
Right, manslaughtered basically.
Right,
and then he comes back, and so you don't really see the ramifications of it. You just see him at a bar, and his wife comes.
Right.
So you can kind of maybe think he's talking though as if he's
still in it because he has the thing on his neck.
Right.
Which I'm guessing, and before he finished the story, that's around the time when it's supposed to tell you you've been cleared. It didn't say it. Right. The movie ended right before it says you are clear. So it still leaves it like, is he really sound or is he just kind of talking to himself?
Yeah.
I honestly think the movie ended a little too long. It should have ended a little earlier. I know I told you. I would have liked for it to have ended at the scene where he blasts off with the explosion and you just see him going off and he's forgot what he says, but he says something like I hope I make it or something, or I can't wait to not be alone anymore. That's what he said. Just pretty much doing a total 180 of his father. Like,
right.
And I would have liked for the movie to end there.
I agree. Because now it leaves you like, okay, is
he's back with the wife?
Is he back with the wife?
The ramifications, like you were saying, what happened?
Because I was thinking, I don't want this movie to show that, because like it's not about like what you did was right or wrong, or like
absolutely,
or if it was about like, okay, you need to now like face the system. It was about just you dealing with like,
it's you getting closure with your father.
Yeah,
the entire movie. You're absolutely right. Yeah. We didn't need to know whether he got back with her or whatever. We just needed to know that he got over his father, and the rest. Once you get over that, you'll be psychologically sound after that.
Yeah.
You might be in jail because of whatever you did, but at least you'll be fine. Yeah.
Did you resolve your daddy issues? And at the end of the movie, like the 2 minutes before the movie ended, you resolve your daddy issues by letting him go and going back home. That's it. It should just boom end.
Agreed.
And I think I don't think it ended bad. I just think it just ended like a minute or two short, like you said.
Yeah. It was just them like, oh hey, look, it's okay. He's doing good. He's not gonna float in space forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I still would have thought he would have got there. I probably would have thought he would have been older when he got there, but because I was under the assumption that maybe the ship didn't have that much power left.
That makes sense. I mean,
so you know, when I saw the white hair, I'm like, oh shit, how long has he been there? But then he just shaved, and I'm like, oh, it's just Brad Pitt. He's just normal.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I don't know.
I didn't think it was gonna be 20 years or anything, but I thought it would have been like a year.
It could have been.
You're right. It could have been.
It was 79 days from Mars to get to Neptune. And I think it was like 19 days to get from Earth to
so it was
Mars.
Months, almost a year. Months.
So almost a year,
half a year, maybe something.
So
like that.
maybe close to a year to get back.
That's still a long time. If he was losing it at 79 days out of isolation, that's how you could tell for him to come back seeming like he's okay. He definitely resolved his daddy issues.
Right, but you even see that smile he has when he's like has like the guy reaching his hand out at the end, and he like grabs the hand like
he's like yes,
he's happy to be back. Like, and I'm
after somebody who spent his entire career staying away from people, he was just like fuck yeah, man, I'm so glad to be back with people.
Right. And you can see even in the beginning, that is a good character development, because in the beginning he was just like, okay, just smile and nod kind of thing. Like in the beginning where he's like walking towards the station, he's like nodding his head,
he didn't
smiling.
Touch anybody. There's even that part where the wife was going to touch him and he kind of like shrugs away.
Yeah.
And then here he embraces the hand like, yes, with the smile, like you said.
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't even think of that. That's a good one.
Because he had like a narration, like just smile and wave, just do the mission. Yeah, whatever. Like I'm not here for like...
look normal, but you're really a fucking robot.
Yeah. So overall, it's a great movie in terms of like a character dive. And I think for now, talking about it like openly, like I could see how great it is in terms of like, wow, like they really did they really did get this character down. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that about does it. That's pretty much just the movie, and I love that. So
yeah, I agree. Like 3.5.
Oh, now we're talking.
I like it. Yeah, if I look at it in that like a character movie, a character-driven movie, like I can appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. I was going in it more fantasy, and that's probably what. So
really quickly before we end this, I was going into the movie that way until I read a quick review saying that it's not what you think. The climax or the reveal was very underwhelming. And when I heard all that, I'm like, okay, I need to go into this movie totally different.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting, there's fucking aliens. The aliens want to kill humans. The dad's working with the aliens to kill the humans. Like, my brain was all over the place.
Yeah.
But once I heard that today, I was like, all right, this movie's just going to be just that, just something. All right, let me go into it. And that's probably why I enjoyed it so much. Because if I would have gone into it thinking that, I probably would have been like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
And then you got to think about it.
It's also, because like I said, like what it is as well, like his characters is very monotone. And that kind of is watching a whole movie with a monotone ass character.
It is. It seems boring until you read between the lines.
Right.
And you're
it
like,
can seem like a drag if you're not like reading. Yeah, like you said, like not reading between the lines. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, this guy's just, and then you see slowly, like, oh yeah, okay, there's something going on. He's building as a character. You just don't really know it yet.
There's like breadcrumbs, but you have to be willing to follow it.
Yeah. So, all right, man.
Yeah, good movie.
Cool.
Like it. Almost really liked it. 3.5.
It's getting a little better.
It's getting a little bit better, yeah. I think it's the first time I've ever like changed. I mean, I think I changed the number like second guessing myself.
You've changed
But
it
from
once
the
or
beginning
twice.
to the end.
Yeah.
I'm coming around. 3.5. Good movie.
All right, 4.
All right, guys. So catch you later on another episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Bye-bye.